Now, joining us is another rather large dude.
Ooh.
Okay? You see him on Instagram, by the way, and you
man.
think, oh, that guy's a bodybuilder.
Beast.
That guy's an absolute monster. He lives in a log cabin out in the middle of the fucking woods. He's terrible at golf, but he is unbelievable at football. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on this draft spectacular, one of the newest members of the Arizona Cardinals, J.J. Watt.
Yeah!
What's going on, dude?
I'm underdressed, but just as excited to be here as everybody who's here, and I'm just thrilled to be in front of, I don't know, 5 million people watching your streams live?
See, JJ, I like how you're coming into this thing. You know what I mean? I like how you're talking about what we got going on. I do have the bow tie. Thank you for recognizing the magnitude of the night. Let's talk very quickly. You're at the Arizona Cardinals now. You stink at golf, but I think in Arizona you're going to get better at golf. I think you're going to get better out there. I think that does happen in Arizona. You see Zaven Collins get drafted right there. I'm not sure if you're a big college football study guy, but you have to like Arizona investing in the defense. Is that something they told you whenever you got brought out there? It's like, hey, we're going for this whole thing?
I've watched a little film on him. I've had a little insight to make sure that I checked out some film, and I like what I saw. I saw a pick six at the line of scrimmage, which was reminiscent. I like the looks of that. He's got athleticism. He's got good size. I know that you like him from your time watching Tulsa games, so it's a good sign if you like him.
Thank you, JJ. You're 100% right. Go ahead, AJ.
JJ, you said you had some insight. What does that mean? Does that happen throughout your whole career before the draft?
No, never in my entire life. So, no, I did not.
This year?
Is this the first time? Yeah. How's this happened? Because when you got brought there, where they're like, hey, you're a former and maybe a potential yet again, like defensive MVP. How many? 4, I think? I don't know how many you have. You have all of them, basically. Like, you're a guy who has been very dominant, surefire Hall of Famer. Whenever you get brought out there and you sign there, which, by the way, fucking congrats.
Yeah!
Hey, I don't think anybody thought you were going to as much as you did, but congrats on that. Awesome. Plus the plane going out to the middle of Wisconsin by the owner and flying back. Is that something that was a part of it? We're like, hey, we're trying to grow something. We want you to be a part of it. Was that a focal part of the conversation, or that didn't mind? That's just kind of how they've been operating?
No, they've just been awesome since day one with me. I mean, from the time the owner picked me up in his plane, I knew that this was obviously a pretty badass setup, and that they all care and everybody's bought in, and it's a very unified front that they have between the owner, the GM, the coach, and it's an awesome operation. It's been great since day one down there. There's one goal. I mean, there's a very clearly one goal, and that's to go out there and win, and they're trying to build a team that's going to win. You look at the moves we made, you look at the guys that we already had on the roster, we're going to have a lot of fun down there.
Hey, how early did Arizona become a contender with you? Because obviously you have to be aware of all the speculation that was out there and all the false moves that people said were happening, and then all of a sudden you signed with Arizona, and it seemed to surprise some people.
Bro, your Peloton account.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know, I left them off my Peloton bio just to try and throw the whole world off.
I thought so.
It was, that process, the whole process was fascinating to go through. Pat, I don't think you ever hit free agency. AJ, did you go through free agency?
No, not really. No.
You were in Green Bay your whole career.
He played in Cincinnati, but it was at the end. He's saying nobody was like, it wasn't like, is that what you're saying, AJ?
Yeah, I was going to my 10th year. Yeah, it was not in your situation.
There was no planes coming. There's no planes.
No, it's just.
Is that what you're saying, AJ?
No planes. Yeah,
see
zero
what's
planes.
Reported. Okay. As a fan of sports, to see what's reported versus what actually happens versus everything that's going on is fascinating. And someday I'll tell the whole true stories. Don't worry, Pat. I'll probably do it on your show when you're
Come on, JJ!
way down the road. Okay. But it is truly fascinating. But Arizona, they came in, and it was one of those things where you start looking at it and you're like, all right, they got a young quarterback who's got a ton of talent. He's got an unbelievable weapons around him. They got a defense that is phenomenal, has one of my favorite players in the league in Chandler Jones, another one of my favorites in Budda Baker. They got guys that fly around, a defense I'm extremely familiar with. Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator. It's the same exact defense I ran my first 3 years in the league. And all the pieces just fit, and I was really excited about it.
Okay, so we have to ask, obviously, you were talking about experiencing free agency, because you and Houston were synonymous. I mean, I got a chance to witness it firsthand when we went down there. You were in every page of the program, and I assume every single advertisement was working. I don't think there was ever a Houston Texans fan that was like, no, if JJ's, I will buy my car there. I will do insurance there. Like, that was the thing. And when Turned Down for What came on, I mean, it felt like all of Houston went. I got a chance to watch it. Then obviously with the fundraising of like $40 million and everything there, you could have never expected, I had assumed, that you would end up going somewhere else. Now, at the end, and you can dive into it or not, I'm not going to give you the gotcha thing, but when you asked to be released, they basically said you got it, whether it was business-wise or whatever it was. You're obviously hearing about what's going on with Aaron, and there's other places. Like, whenever you ask to potentially get released, is that a, like, nerve-wrack? Is that, like, something, was that an interesting situation for you to be like, you know what, I think it's time for us both to move on? And how did that whole thing come about, you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation in general because, like you said, it's extremely difficult to ever picture yourself in any jersey but that one you've worn for 10 years with an organization and a fan base that you've built such an unbelievable connection with. And, I mean, the love that I feel for the city of Houston and those people will last forever. I am so grateful, and I will forever consider that a home of mine, and I'll be a 713 guy till I die. I mean, I love those people. I love everybody down there. But sometimes the situation just presents itself in a way where it's time for a new opportunity. And that's exactly what happened. And I went and asked for it, and they graciously granted it to me. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm also thankful for a brand new opportunity with the Cardinals and excited to get going.
Did you expect it to be an absolute firestorm? I mean, there was a billboard in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
There was a billboard in Buffalo, I think. Like, that had to feel pretty good because the love that you got in Houston was always massive, just like I explained. But, like, getting a chance to feel the respect from around the league had to be pretty fucking dope, to be honest with you. You're like, hey, come here, and everything. Arizona came out of nowhere. But that had to be a pretty cool feeling. Be like, oh, people really, really like me out here. This is a cool thing.
I can't lie to you, Pat. As a guy who was a 2-star recruit out of college that wasn't the most highly recruited person in the world, it was a pretty badass experience.
Yeah, I could imagine. I
didn't get to go pick the hats on the table or anything. So it was kind of cool to, at the same time, all I was thinking was like, there are all these fan bases being incredible to me and offering me all these great things and donating to my charity. And I am going to let some of them down. There is no possible way that this ends with everybody happy. And you're sitting there like, gosh, there are people literally donating money to charity, doing great things. And I have to not go to that location. It was tough.
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse, huh? Just being so affable. You know what I mean?
It was tough. And then immediately they hate you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you stink. That guy stinks anyways. That guy stinks. Hey, pretty fickle community we live in, but that's going to happen when you're JJ Watt. Connor, what do you have?
Yeah, JJ, speaking of people hating you, do your brothers hate you now because you refuse to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Or have they kind of buried the hatchet here?
What's that all about? You hate your family. That's crazy.
We hate each other. We were just eating barbecue wings together about 25 minutes ago, so we buried the hatchet pretty deep in some ranch dressing.
That's okay. So you're not trying to be in the best shape of your life. You're eating ranch dressing. This is unbelievable.
Despicable.
I know. Can you believe it? I've changed.
Have you changed at all as you've gotten older with what you do with your body? Have you gone through any diet changes or lifting changes? I think you have the same strength coach you've had, I think, since high school or whatever. I've seen him spotting you, I think, in flip-flops, which is incredibly awesome. I wish I knew that guy. But have you had to change anything as you've gotten older with your body and anything you've been through?
Yeah. So there have been a lot of things that I've gone through over the years that I've changed and tweaked. And obviously the injuries change your mindset always. So I went through all the injuries, and in the beginning, I thought I was invincible, and I thought that no matter what I did, I was going to be back to 100% no problem. Obviously learned that that's not the case. There is a mortality to this game. So then I listened to everything the doctors said and every word the trainers said, and I was extremely conservative with my training. And I learned that, can I stay healthy doing that and play okay? Sure. But can I play the way I want to play and be great? No. So what I've done now is I've basically taken it back into my own hands. And I said, listen, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out doing it my way. I'm going to go out doing it my way. This is my first time back with Brad, my trainer, in 4 years because I've had to rehab the last 3. So I'm glad to be back with him. I'm training with my brothers. Training's going extremely well. And I'm feeling very, very good in the fact that I've learned from my past mistakes, but I'm also not taking some conservative route, just trying to, be on the field. I want to be dominating when I'm on the field.
Yeah, you guys got some Rocky shit going on. I saw you cut a hole in the ice, and that was your cold tub. Have you guys been beaten up, hanging like cows and stuff like that? What is? Have you guys all just said, you know what? We're all going to try to get the MVP this year. We're going to go live out in the middle of the fucking woods. We're going to go into lakes whenever they're cold for, rehab to hopefully flush us. Has it been a super dialed in offseason for the Watts? And is that a conscious effort by you guys? Like, hey, we might as well, we have 3 NFL guys here. We might as well get after it and really become the best we can. And are you and TJ trying to see who can end up with more MVPs? And is that an actual conversation that happens?
The answer to the beginning of the question, yeah. We're trying to do literally everything we can to be the best players that we can be. That's why we work out together. That's why we push each other so hard. That's why everything we do, from conversations about nutrition to training to sleep, we're trying to do everything we can, and we help each other out. TJ and I absolutely have conversations about trying to outdo each other's stats, trying to outdo each other's accomplishments. I obviously think that he should have a defensive player of the year or 2 right now. He deserves it. He's obviously going up against unbelievably formidable competition in that category, so you can't be too mad about it. But I personally, as his brother, believe he should have at least 1.
Me too.
But I still have 3, and he still has 0.
So that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. JJ, we have one final question here from Mad Mel Kiper, and I assume you knew something about this was maybe coming, but Mad Mel Kiper, please speak to JJ Watt, please.
Yeah, JJ, thanks for joining us, but we do have to know, and maybe it's just water under the bridge at this point, but how awkward was it in the locker room last year after you broke Bill O'Brien's nose in that practice? Obviously, everyone knows you swung on him, you took a big shot at him, probably knocked him on his ass. How awkward was it in the locker room afterwards, or were your teammates pretty jacked up that you flattened his ass?
JJ, that was a wild time to be a Daily Show. When you were punching the head coach of a team, that was a wild time, JJ. I assume your life was also pretty wild at that time.
Pat, the only thing that compares to what happened was your WWE performance. I mean, that's essentially what went down.
Okay, so you did a backflip off the top, all right? Then you climbed up on top of the cage, swanton on Bill O'Brien. Damn. Then if the stories are accurate from the media, defensive coordinator also was like, you know what? I'll come in for that son of a bitch too, allegedly. So I appreciate you clearing that up for us. But I assume with everything, especially at that time in Houston, that was a completely big fabrication, and we'll learn that story someday, or no?
Yeah, like I said, there's stories that will be told someday, but I think that there's always things that get taken out of context, just like somebody thinking that I would put my top 3 teams on a Peloton bio. So there's plenty, just like the mitochondria being a key to where I was going to sign. Like there's always things that are taken out of context, but there's always things that maybe aren't. You never know.
JJ, you're the best, by the way. That was a Shanahan, John Lynch type of answer at a press conference yesterday. We can't thank you enough for your time. Good luck in Arizona alongside Zaven Collins, dude, out of Tulsa. Guy's a ball player, dude. Ball hawk out there. JJ, we appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ Watt. Yeah, hey, you're the best, dude. He is. Good guy.
Man.
They're just training all day, AJ. All day out there to watch, just getting after it. Just getting after it out in the middle of the woods in Wisconsin. You got to love it. Got to love it.
I believe me, I've seen it. I see it on Instagram, and I credit to Mad Mel too for clearing some stuff up. I mean, that was interesting.
So while he was giving an answer there, okay, obviously I look over, and Mad Mel goes, You were me for that one. And I was like, okay, so now I got to figure out if Mad Mel asked this, do we have any chance of getting an answer? Okay. So then we kind of just tag teamed that thing, But we had to ask about that.
Had to ask him.
Had to ask about that.
And he didn't deny it. I mean, I said, punched him in the face, broke his nose. He might have fucking swung an elbow, knocked him out. Who knows? He didn't deny it. So.
And by the way, I mean it. I did go through somebody on a table. He said it was similar to that.
Yeah.
Did Bill O'Brien end up through a table? We'll find out someday, maybe, hopefully. And he said probably on this show if he does ever talk about it.
Well, and there's some truth to everything. Like he mentioned the mitochondria thing. It's like, hey, JJ, mitochondria ends in A, and you ended up in Arizona.
And by the way, own ya.
How about that?
You know what I mean?
There probably was some truth to
The
it.
mitochondria from Arizona. It was very obvious. So we don't know what games he was playing. And if the stories we didn't ask him, golly, should ask him. Allegedly, he had the shirts of the team he was going to pick mailed to somebody else because he thought the mailman would potentially talk. Isn't that awesome? That's awesome.